and welcome to Scale Car Garage. Well, time to work on the body of the Morgan. Got some details to do and, well, anyway, why don't we get straight to it right here on Scale Car Garage. Okay, so as you can see on our workbench here where we have our paints and so forth, we have the body of the Morgan. So what we're going to do first is we're going to make a little scribe into the panel lines that are already there, because most of the time those panel lines are filled up with paint, which of course is a liquid solid, and it goes, anyway, the panel lines fill up with paint. And I'm just going to show you how we do the doors here. I think the panel lines over here for the hood are actually pretty good. The back of the hood might need a bit of scribing. The bottom looks fine. Anyway, so let's do some scribing on the body. I'll show you how I do that. And I'm going to use an X-Acto knife with a number 11 blade, and it's a brand new blade, so it's really got a nice tip to it, and these are really sharp. So, some care needs to be taken. Let me show you how I do this. You can see the body is just lovely. So I'm going to take not the front of the blade, we're going to use the back, and what we're really doing here is we're scoring a line very, very lightly. It doesn't have to be very deep, but just along the panel line. Hopefully you can see that. There we go. Very gently, be very, very gentle. And what you'll do is you'll take out just a little bit of, I don't know if you can see that, but a little bit of paint. And again, nice and light, and just let the panel line guide the blade. And you can see that little bit of paint there on the tip, hopefully, of the blade, on the back of it. And I just put it on my finger. Give a little push on it, and we'll do that again. So we'll tip up here. Nice and gentle, just a light scoring, very, very light, nothing too deep. And you want to take your time, because you don't want a slip of the knife. There we go. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Here we go. And even with the scoring, you can see how you can see more of the gap of the door to the body. And you don't have to take a lot out, just a bit. And you can see I took a little more there. There you go. And I think that's actually just good for this door. I think we're good here. Especially along the bottom. Nice and easy. There we go. And let's not forget this corner. Again, I'm going very, very easy, very, very lightly. And the front of the door there. Right. So let's do the other door. And the side of the door here. Gently, just very gently. I think that'll be fine for the doors. Now, we have to do the gap where the firewall meets the hood, or being a British car they would call it the bonnet. So let's be very, very careful, and we're going to turn it upside down to make it easier for us. And you can see the gap there, and I'm going to put, again, the back of the blade in this gap and draw it along that line. Very, very gently. Very gently. There we go. Nice and easy. That's the first one. Let's do it in the opposite direction a little bit. There we go. And you can see how we're creating the gap. There we go. Now, you'll notice that the gap here on the Morgan's hood by the radiator and down the fender line actually already exists. You don't really have to score it because there's actually, these are two separate pieces. I'm just going to move it separately. There you go. And it's bonded with a heat, or the post is heat bonded here so it doesn't come off. So there's no need to do that. Those are all the gaps we have to do. So we're ready to put on some paint. All right, let's do that next. So we've got our paint ready. It's stirred. We're using a 00 brush, and here is the important bit. If you have some thinner, you're going to need some thinner. So keep your thinner bottle open, because that's really the trick that creates the capillary action for the gap that you want to highlight. The paint has to be thin, but not too thin, not too thick, and you'll see how it just flows through. So let's get that done right now. All right, so we've mixed our paint. There's our body. Make sure the paint is mixed. And we're using gloss black testers, enamel paint. I'm just going to put this here for now. So you can see the gap there. You will see we're going to try and do this door gap. So the trick is to take a splotch of paint, see that? Thin it. And then there's a lot on there, so you just take your cleaning facility and just touch it. And what we're going to do now is just touch it on the side. Just touch it very gently. And there you can see the capillary action. And just keep pushing the paint, and the paint goes right down into the gap, all by itself. Now you can take a little more and just keep pushing. Oh, now you can see that that is actually too thick. Take a little bit of thinner and thin it through. And you can see how it's running down into the line that we scored. So there's a gap done. Now you can see that. There you go. Just have to do the back of the door. Do the back here. And you see how you just touch it. And you see how I've got that black dot where I was flowing in the paint. And now I'm going to remove it. All gone. And there is the door gap highlighted using gloss black paint. Let's do the other door. Little dot of black paint, dip into thinner, mix it a little bit, a little more thinner, and touch it and it should spot. Oh, there we go. Let's go from the back this time first. Just touch. And there it runs. Did you see it run? Beautiful. And it's going to go all the way up the door. And we'll touch it over here. Fill it in. There's the gap. Now let's do the hood or bonnet gap. And the best place to start on the hood, again, you want gravity to work for you. Gravity is your friend with this. So let's start just to the middle here. Hopefully you can see that. And just touch it away it goes. Put a little more thinner on there, I think. A little more thinner. Too much. There it goes. Oh, it does need more thinner for sure. There we go. Just keep pumping it with thinner. And it will go through. Or it should. Now, if this does happen to you, don't worry. Don't worry. It's all good. See how it ran down? Don't worry about that. And we'll do the front of the bonnet. And there we have the gaps. All done. Doors, the top of the bonnet, and the front of the bonnet by the radiator. So we'll just set this aside and dry. Let it dry, I should say. Set it aside, let it dry, and we're all done. After letting the paint dry overnight, it was time to select and cut the decals for the Morgan. The decals were chosen from a set of the monogram numbers sheets. I decided to have bordered roundels on the doors and the hood of the car. After placing the decal in some hot water, I put a roundel on the hood of the Morgan. Given the texture, I did my best to press the decal around the contours of the louvers of the hood. Then, I put a roundel on the driver's door. Once tamped down, I trimmed the portion of the roundel that folded over the curved edge of the top of the door. I then repeated this procedure on the passenger side of the car. With the roundels on the car, it was time to place the numbers inside them. I began with the hood and positioned the first number. Then the second. I next put numbers on the roundel of the driver's door, and then the roundel of the passenger door. Here are the roundels and numbers in place on the Morgan. I decided to put some sponsor decals on the car, one on the hood and one on the fender. Using real masking tape, trimmed to size, I put 2 strips of tape on each of the front headlights. Here is the Morgan with the panel gaps painted and roundels, numbers, sponsors, and headlight tape on the body. Now to protect these decorations using Liquid Pledge Finish as a clear coat. To apply the clear coat, I used a wide brush and applied a light coat covering the entire body, less the tonneau cover. Now that the body of the Morgan is done, the next step will be to complete the driver and interior. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe.